In a world where insanity reigns supreme and safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, it's comforting to know an ancient, fat, long-haired, bearded reprobate has your mind in mind. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California. And despite every attempt by the SHR Media Network to revoke his shameless contract, we return to the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon.
I have come here to chew bubble gum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubble.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct right here at the SHR Media Network, where I am broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, count 'em, 2 miles east, veritable belly of the beast, the locus of evil on the entire left coast. That's the Capitol building at 10th and L Street downtown in Sacramento, California, with a K. I gotta tell you this. You got a belly up to the bar. We've kept your seat, and it's great to see you back. Tonight, it's the 14th of May, year of our Lord, 2019. By the way, Tashay is going to be your bartendress tonight. She pours with the best of them, and the lava lamp is, in fact, lighted. Can you see it? Yeah, you can. Okay. In this view, you can see it. To my left, your right, indicating that you can listen and chat. I only monitor one chat room, so please come to shrmedia.com. One chat room. Come to shrmedia.com. Pretty please, one and all. Listen and chat at shrmedia.com. You can also watch the show on Big Sarge Media, where we are simulcasting with the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. And I got to tell you that we don't water our drinks just like we don't water our conversation. Politics, religion, crime, culture, economics, race, sex, science, law. We talk about it all here, right at the saloon. You know, the speech is free, but the booze is not. Tonight, in the first hour, it's Carrie Baxter Donovan. And then in the second hour, it's we're going to try this again. And I encourage you to call in. It's going to be open. I'm going to try another open line Tuesday. And the number's in the chat room. And for those of you who don't happen to be in the chat room right now, it's area code 209 284. Almost forgot the number. Area code 209 284 3210. Well, the number again is area code 209 284 3210. 209 284 3210. That's for the second hour, because in the first hour, I have Carrie Baxter Donovan, who is BZZCPG, as you well know by now. And that is the East Coast political goddess. We're going to see if she's here tonight, because she's got a lot of, I haven't been,
Hello.
Oh, wait. I was just talking, and all of a sudden, there, by the magic of technology, there she is. It's
Yay.
Carrie Baxter Donovan, BZ's very own ECPG, which is the East Coast political goddess. So welcome, Carrie Baxter Donovan.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to talk to you.
This is new because since the last time I spoke to you, I am simulcasting on another network, which is the Big Sarge Media. And so there's going to be a lot of people that I invited over here that have not heard you before and may not be aware of you. So what I'd like to do tonight, Carrie Baxter Donovan, is have some of the folks, have you give some of the folks that may be new here, because, in chat, welcome to, by the way, how resolutely tragically terrible of me. Where's my manners? Welcome to Mike in chat. Robin Duffy in chat. Welcome. Haven't seen you in a while. Jack Alexander in chat. The Alaskan. One each. Simone and Mary Brockman in chat. So welcome, all you folks in chat. So for the people, however, who don't know you, and all the people in chat have an inkling as to who you are, but for the people coming from Big Sarge Media, can you give a little bit of a background as to who you are and why you're so darn stellar? And I mean that. You are darn stellar.
Well, let me see if I can fill in those blanks. I'm not sure I can, but
I think you can.
I appreciate the setup. So, hello. Well, welcome. Welcome to Big Sarge Media. I should welcome myself there, but I knew that you were doing that, and so congratulations. That was you were just starting that the last time I talked to you.
Correct.
So I bumped into you in cyberspace someplace, and was doing some commentary on the Republican convention for SHR, and so I say I'm just a stay-at-home mom, but I do some citizen journalism, citizen punditry. I've done some writing for various sites. I kind of move around a lot, which is, typical for this sort of independent media lifestyle that we have. Currently, I'm writing for Halsey News, and I'm on Patriot Soapbox on Thursdays and Sundays doing I've been doing some outrageous interviews the last couple of months. So pretty much my whole thing is everything that I'm doing, I'm trying to focus on getting out the vote for mostly Republican causes because they're, the ones supporting liberty the most, but not necessarily because Republicans are the most awesome all the time, because sometimes they're not. And when they're not, I like to talk about it. So I talk about politics. I talk about citizen journalism. I was a community organizer way back in the day, and minority engagement and outreach and stuff like that. So that's kind of my wheelhouse. And then I love coming on your show because you're so fun, and you totally get me in my whole Steve Bannon, OODA loops, and all that crazy stuff that I love to talk about.
The veritable, folks, if you don't know this already, she is the veritable Steve Bannon girl. She has photographs of herself with Steve Bannon, and I noticed, and I want to mention this, is that you have, I don't have this, a photograph of Steve Bannon, and I'm wearing cool sunglasses, and he's not. You have a photograph of Steve Bannon where you're wearing cool sunglasses, and he's not.
I had to add those later. Yeah, well, he's way cooler than I am, so he didn't need the cool sunglasses. I had to, up my cool factor so I could be as cool as him. So I added the sunglasses later. And also because I probably didn't have any makeup on and I looked terrible, so I had to hide my face.
Oh.
It was actually funny. That day, I have super long hair, and because I don't want to take time to go get my hair cut. And on that day, it was about 172 degrees. And I had to walk around with all my photography equipment, and so I was exhausted. I was hot. I was just sweaty and gross. I found a pair of scissors in my car. I leaned over and I chopped my hair because I just couldn't take it anymore. And I did the worst job. I know. And so on that day, I looked so terrible. And of course, I'm it's the one day that I got to meet Steve Bannon. I have since met him and spent a little time chatting with him. But on that particular day, that was my first time meeting him, and he was so kind. He was so nice. I was taking photographs, and everybody was clamoring to talk to him. And I knew that I only had about 7 seconds to say hello to him because I was there doing all the media. And I leaned over, and I said, "Hi, Steve Bannon. It's so nice to meet you. I'm Steve Bannon fangirl." And he goes, "I have a fangirl?" He stopped what he was doing, he was walking, and he stopped, and he goes, I have a fangirl, and I said, "Yeah, it's me." And he said, "Oh, I love fangirls," and I said, "Great, we're off to a good start."
Listen,
and that was the.
I'm still back at you cut off your hair. I can't believe that happened. That you said that. Oh my God! Did it grow back?
I did. Yeah, I mean, my hair grows pretty fast, and so, like, right now it's so long it gets caught in my clothes, and I really should just go get to the beauty salon. But, I mean, can you imagine? You have to sit there for how long? And then there's somebody messing with you and messing with your hair. They're brushing your hair. Like, just, I don't like it. I don't like the whole thing.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah.
I know. I've been thinking about doing the impossible myself. It would border on heresy. I've been thinking about getting my hair cut and maybe my beard cut. Now, and I'm not convinced that I'm going that direction. Not yet, but I'm just kind of mulling it around. By the way, now
there's somebody messing with your face.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Yeah.
I don't like that either.
You mentioned this, and I just went there, and I hadn't known that you were writing for this. So I went there, quick like a bunny, onto my favorite search engine, and I found Halsey News. And if you want to read where Carrie Baxter Donovan writes, Halsey News, it's HALSEY News, all one word, halseynews.com. And so I started scrolling around in there, and there's a bunch of articles. Now, it doesn't indicate the author, and I haven't gone through all of this, but all I'm doing is just trying to promote, hey, this is your new site. This is where you're writing at halseynews.com. Now, because I'm nothing if not a pimp, it's time to pimp your show, because you too have a radio show. So if people want to listen, where and when can people listen to your show?
And so my show, and hopefully you're going to come on my show too. I think we talked about that a while ago.
Told you I would.
We have to get, so I'm counting on you to come on. But my show is on Patriot Soapbox, which is a live streaming. It's on YouTube. And you just go to YouTube, put in Patriot Soapbox, and it's live streaming 24/7. But my show is on Thursday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern, and Sunday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. And those are my 2 time slots. And sometimes I fill in for other people. I was actually a guest on someone's show, and they said, hey, you were so... I mean, it's hard for me to believe because, again, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. They were like, hey, you did this really well, so you want to have your own show? I said, what? Do I want to have my own show? I mean, I can't have my own show. I don't even know what I'm talking about all the time, most of the time. All the time. No, I never know what I'm talking about. I just ramble on. So maybe I'm a good rambler. Anyway, Patriot Soapbox.
Okay, you could be a good rambler, but maybe you're actually a better American Motors, because American Motors did make Rambler. Just talking about that.
Ooh, I like American Ramblers better. Yeah.
Okay. All right, there you go. You could be an American Rambler. Just like I decided for the Shat Show tomorrow that we're freestyle radio, and we just say whatever the hell comes and pops into our heads.
I love it.
So one of the places, I've got a ton of questions to ask and a lot of stories and whatnot. Folks, we're talking to Carrie Baxter Donovan, who is BZ's ECPG, which I call the East Coast Political Goddess. Now, I noticed, and I think you made mention of this in about the past 10 minutes or so, but I want to pick your brain about this. You had, on one of your recent shows, what I think would be a very interesting person to chat to, and that is Barbara Flynn, who is not the wife, not the wife of Michael Flynn, but she is the sister of Michael Flynn. Do I have that right?
Yes. She is the sister. She's the little sister.
Okay, so that I think is one hell of a place to mine facts. So and an interesting perspective.
Awesome.
So what did she tell you? What did you ask? And what are the sort of impressions that you got? Just give us some insight as to when you spoke to Barbara Flynn, who is the sister of Michael Flynn, who did plead guilty to lying to the FBI. That's an entirely separate topic that I have some very serious perceptions and opinions about. So what did that interview, what was that interview like? Carrie Baxter Donovan of Barbara Flynn.
That was awesome. That was so awesome. I actually I finally hooked up with her. And I was at CPAC, and I called her back, and I said, I can barely hear you because I'm at CPAC, and President Trump's coming out, and but I'm sitting here, and so I had a minute. And so she was so cute. Oh, this is really exciting. Call me back when you get back from CPAC. And so the next day I called her, and I was on the phone doing sort of a pre-interview wrap with her.
Okay.
And we were on the phone for about 2 hours, and it was really cool because she just like laid out all of this stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh. First of all, she's the younger sister of General Mike Flynn.
Okay. You were probably, weren't you, my guess would be, weren't you thinking to yourself, oh, God dang it, why didn't I record this? This is great, 2 hours of material.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And right? So some people want to do a pre-interview and some people don't. They just want to show up. Because I also interviewed her brother, Joe Flynn.
Okay.
And he just wanted to show up. And he just showed up, and we just started rapping. And he was on for an hour and a half. And we were just rapping about everything. But I had not spoken to him before. But his sister, of course, she was a teacher, and so she's very organized. And so she laid out, and she said to me, we were having a great conversation, patriotism, what a beautiful family. You know, she told me about her parents and the way that they were raised. She gave me some insight into, like, that her brother, that she calls General Mike,
right.
That he was always very special to their mother, and that they had a very unique relationship. There was a very special relationship. It was a big family, that they were raised to be patriots, that their parents had told them, you know, laid that out to them, and that Mike was, you know, really, you know, that was put upon him, that this is patriotism, this is your country, this is what you do. And so this is a very patriotic family. Joe and Barbara started the General Mike Defense Fund. And so they are the two that are most active on social media, and they're really out there a lot, right? And so Barbara, like you said, she's very methodical. She's a teacher. And so she said, I want to come on your show, and I want to tell people about this is where I want them to go to look for specific things. And then she just started laying out names. She started laying out resources. One of them, for example, is she said, what I want people to understand, if they want to understand this whole Spygate thing, is, and as she's talking to me, I'm looking down on my table and I'm cleaning off things, and I pull out this little insert that came out of my CPAC bag, and it's like a newspaper thick, and it's all on Spygate. She said, the Epoch Times did a whole thing on Spygate, and I'm like, Barbara, you're not going to believe this. I have it in my hand. So just wow.
Funny you should mention that. The Epoch Times sent me a copy to the BZ Airy, and I got that same article, that same newspaper, and subsequently, guess what? I went and subscribed. I thought it was a hell of a great researched article. Right.
And so she's very fond of the Epoch Times, and so she said that particular insert is full of correct information as far as her point of view. And then she also gave me some other resources, which were like, oh my gosh, Barbara. And so as she was talking, I bring up the resources because she had already set that out in that pre-interview. Mm-hmm. I was ready, and I pulled it out. She pulled out a couple of names, things that we were like, wow, we haven't heard this before. And then she said that what she was looking at, now that interview was a couple of months ago, I think.
Yes.
And at that time, I was trying to get from her, like, what should we be looking for? And she was saying that it was an egregious or an overzealous, I can't remember now the exact term that she used. I should remember, right? Oh, but basically it was an abuse of prosecutor authority or prosecutor power. But she had a very specific term. Okay. And it's in that interview. And that obviously told me, like, I can't, and I don't want to bust anybody, or I'm not trying to get a gotcha moment on anyone, especially not General Mike Flynn's sister. So when she was laying this term out, she was very specific about it. And I said, okay, that is something obviously she's gotten from conversations. And since then, she's been using it in her Twitter. But she is definitely a person that you want to follow because she is a teacher. She's trying to tell people this is what's coming. The resources that she reposts, those are of high quality. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas Joe's out there, and he had a great interview as well. But he's, putting out a lot more of his emotion, his feeling about things. And which is good too. I think that we need to hear that, and that's my premise of my show is the Patriot Soapbox. Like I want to bring people in who want to use the soapbox. So some people will just ramble on for almost 2 hours, without taking a break. And I just sit there and go, okay, yeah, that's great. And some people want to be interviewed. Like I asked them, question, answer. But basically for Joe, he needed to just talk about what he sees and how he feels about it. So there are two different perspectives, but the two of them are working together to basically get the message out. Like, don't forget about General Flynn. Don't forget there's something else going on. And that, and Barbara really goes after it on her Twitter, who she thinks is responsible for the situation that he's in. So,
Let me see if I can summarize, and again, you correct me, please, if I'm wrong, what she essentially said, if I was hearing what she was saying appropriately, is that, in a nutshell, Michael Flynn took one for the team. Now, how do you think she meant that?
She meant that he knows, and I asked, he knows what he's doing. He knew what he was doing when he said that he's guilty. We might learn some more about that might have been, there might be a reason why he pled guilty to something that he's not really guilty of.
Okay, let me throw this out in the ether as well. There's a guy named Michael Caputo. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Yes.
But essentially,
yeah, I am.
He was railroaded by the Mueller report and the Mueller Commission, the special counsel, and had to appear a number of times. Now, he's not even remotely a big player at all. He's a bit player, if that. But essentially, $150,000 later, that ruined him. So he said, I just don't have that kind of coin to defend myself. They've ruined me. I've had to sell my home, etc. So essentially, that's how people get placed into positions where they decide, okay, I am going to have to take one for the team. I am going to have to plead guilty. I just don't have the financial, if nothing else, I don't have the fiscal wherewithal to fight this fight anymore, because the monster, the U.S. government, is a monster, and it will never run out of attorneys, ever.
Right, but I think she meant that in a different way, and I'm pretty certain I confirm that he took one for the team. And she said he did it for the country. In the process of him pleading guilty and going through what he's going through is opening up a bunch of basically discovery on things that we need to know about. I think that's what's happening with Roger Stone somewhat too. Not that he voluntarily went, but then in the process of us learning about, in the process of his lawsuit, and I've got something on that I can tell you about. It's going to happen.
Okay.
His lawsuit, the discovery in his lawsuit is going to open that. It's going to explode the whole thing, because, and I can tell you this is what's going on with Roger Stone. Roger Stone had Bill Binney in giving testimony. I think it was just a day or 2 days ago. Now, I've had Bill Binney on and I've had Larry Johnson on. Bill Binney is basically the father of the NSA. And I had him on for 2 hours. He just talked about his life and what he was doing with the NSA. I don't want to take up your whole show on that alone, but if you look him up, you'll see. And President Trump wanted Pompeo to meet with Binney. So Binney's on President Trump's radar, right?
Okay.
So Binney is the NSA guy who basically created algorithms that would have prevented 9/11. He creates these algorithms. He's an American hero. There's a movie called The American Hero, and it's about Bill Binney and what he has done. He basically says, listen, there's no DNC hack. There's no Russia hack. Whoever got those emails to WikiLeaks, because of the algorithm, because of the rate of download, that has to be blah, 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 blah. Okay, and that's Bill Binney, and he has all the technical experience, more so than anybody else in the country, to know and to say it couldn't have been your premise for these Russian and all of this stuff with these hacked emails is not right. And so he has gone over to Roger Stone and given that testimony. Now Roger Stone in his lawsuit, and I asked Roger Stone, to verify this to me, and he did. he sent me links to a couple of articles, and basically they're saying, Stone's lawyer is saying, this whole entire Russia thing, you can't prove that it happened, so why are we here? Okay, so his case is going to be something very interesting to watch. So in a way, he's taking one for the team, but he didn't do that voluntarily because you saw that they went to his house and dragged him out of there. I do believe that Flynn pleading guilty, we're going to find out something about that. But it might not be for a while, and there's probably a reason why that had to happen because of what came out because of that. Because even the FBI said, but he's not guilty. So how does he go and plead guilty to something that he's not guilty of? Now, when Joe was on my show, and I didn't mean to do this to him, hopefully he's forgiven me. I've chatted with him a little bit since, but when he was on the show, I said, Joe, I said, I've got this one question. I said, I haven't been able to forgive Mike Pence for what happened. Is there anything that you can tell me about Mike Pence? Is there anything that you can tell me about what happened there? And he said, I'm sorry, I can't talk about that.
Okay, stop just for a second.
That was very interesting.
Stop just for a second. Number one, we got about 3 more minutes before the bottom of the hour break. Number two, I am unfamiliar with any kind of linkage between Mike Pence and or Michael Flynn or any interaction thereof. So what is the interaction or what is the linkage there that you're talking about?
The reason why Mike Flynn got fired from the White House is because Mike Pence had reported him for lying.
Okay. All right.
So so my point being, I mean, if I have to choose between General Mike Flynn and Mike Pence isn't going to be my first choice. He's not going to be the person that I believe. I don't know. I don't know. Is there something there or not?
He hasn't the service, I believe, to the country that Michael Flynn has. The other interesting point, and the reason I'll tend to go with Michael Flynn, is that he served in the DIA. And when he served there, essentially he was fired or forced to resign because he was not in keeping with God's great plan at the time. That was Barack Hussein Obama. And they didn't see eye to eye. And that's one of the major reasons, essentially, that he was shoved aside, is that just when people are telling us that, hey, there's no politics in the alphabet agencies, well, the truth is bullshit. There's a lot of politics in the alphabet agencies. Now, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk to Carrie Baxter Donovan about the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine, the revelations, the tip of the iceberg, and where all of this may be going. So, folks, this is Carrie Baxter Donovan, BZ's East Coast political goddess, right here, live and direct, on the SHR Media Network. What's that?
You're so sweet.
I'm just telling the truth. I'm just telling it like it is. That's all. And so when we come back, we're going to be talking about those things. And we've got Carrie Baxter Donovan here for another half hour. Oh, by the way, if you have any questions for her, rip me a question in the chat room. You can listen and chat at shrmedia.com. I got maxed out for a while. Chat roll's starting to piss me off because it's telling me at 10 people it's full when I just paid to have it expanded. So that's another issue. So hang on, folks. We'll be right back with Carrie Baxter Donovan after this.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York. the lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
Hey girls, Carry Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys' club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic concealed carry and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out carrygirlgear.com today.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
For 50 years, I've seen the American people blinded by corrupt politicians, a lapdog media, and deceptive Islam. The one thing the elites fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud, through SHR Media and the Western Free Radio Network, for half a century of experienced perspective on political and social issues, weekly on The Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad. Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, guess what? It's time for the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show. Live and direct right here. The sumptuous and palatial SHR Media Studios, where I have the unbridled pleasure of speaking to Carrie Baxter Donovan, who is the East Coast political goddess of BZ. Carrie Baxter Donovan, one each. Welcome back. Good to see you. Good to hear you.
Hello.
And I think we found...
I was just responding to an email.
Oh, okay. I think we found out the chat roll issue because Sean came in here during the break and chat roll looks like it's messing me over at limiting the chat room. After I paid for it to open up to 50 people, it's only recognizing 9 or 10 people. So Sean made a pinky... He made a pinky swear with me that he's going to take care of it tomorrow. He just can't take care of it right now because to take care of it, he's going to have to sit in this seat right now. And I said, no, I'm not going. I have a show to do. So I have a show to do.
And Sean's fine, but he's not you. So
I know. Thank you.
You have to sit in your seat for your show. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. John in chat says, funny how every time I get here, the chat room gets full. I need to go on a diet. Okay, so Carrie Baxter Donovan, my East Coast political goddess, I asked you before the break, I said, let's talk about the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine. Let's talk about the dossier, because this all is interlinked, and essentially Beezy's perspective on it is this was nothing more than a soft coup against an American citizen. All of these other people were hoovered up into the situation, and crimes were created that would not have existed or been discovered absent this investigation, and that is the truth. It's a soft coup against an American citizen. It's a soft coup against a presidential nominee. It's a soft coup against a president-elect, and a soft coup against a sitting president as well.
Yeah, it just continues to roll on, right? It's still rolling on. Here we've got Senator Burr dragging Don Jr. in again. So, they don't stop.
Now, that's an interesting point. I'll get back to mine, but let's go with you on that first. Because my first thought is, wait. I bet Carrie Baxter Donovan has something to say about this, because, hey, isn't Senator Burr your senator in North Carolina?
I went off on my show. I called at 8:50. I want you to pay attention to this time, because I railed on these guys. So my show was on Thursday. I called, and Richard Burr made that announcement on Wednesday. Now, Richard Burr has already gotten under my skin numerous times, including a couple of days before the election when he was pretending to pace back and forth and then got up on stage at a GOP rally and pretended like, oh, I'm so concerned that Hillary might get elected. Even at that point, the North Carolina GOP, the NCGOP, the people who were forced to campaign for him, because nobody likes him, and he does things like, well, if you're going to have a Trump sticker, then you have to have, since I'm the senator, and we have to have Burr Trump. So he basically forced all the GOP material. Oh, please, I could go on. So if I'm giving out Trump literature from the GOP, it has Burr's name on it. So I'm forced to campaign for him, right? So I campaigned, so I did it, whatever, just get Trump in office, get the information out everywhere. So yes, on Thursday at 8:50 in the morning, I called, if you call his DC office, he never answers. You know why? Because nobody likes him. So nobody answers. Okay, and he's the man's supposed to be retiring, but I'm not going to count on it. I don't like him. So I call his two field offices. The first field office that I called at 8:50 in the morning, I said, listen, I have a problem. I said, I'm a member of the NCGOP. I am a conservative, and I am your constituent, okay? So, and I want you to listen to me. And the man was already yelling at me. And I said, no. I said, you are a civil servant. You're going to listen to me. I did not call to get your opinion. I called to give you my opinion, okay? So he ended up slamming the phone down on me. Okay, so I called back, and a woman answered, and she says, well, what would you like us to tell the senator? I said, what I would like you to tell Richard is, I said, I'm not going to call him, I'm not going to go with all of these, platitudes. You tell Richard over there that it is obvious that he is harassing the son of the President of the United States. And the first thing that I thought of as a Republican, as a member of the NCGOP, and as a conservative was, what crimes is Richard covering up now? That's what I want to know. And so she started yelling at me, and she yelled at me for a while, and then she hung up the phone. And I thought to myself, they're so flustered at 8:50 in the morning. They've already been bombarded with phone calls at 8:50 in the morning. It's not even 9 o'clock yet. And these little twats over here, because, I was trained by a Democratic congressman. These are my constituents. And so you have perfect customer service, whether it be a Republican or Democrat, I don't care. Whether they're saying something positive or something negative, I don't care. You are to have perfect customer service with my constituents, and that was somebody who was reelected 8 times to Congress. Okay, that's who I was trained by.
Okay.
So I have a little bit of an attitude here about you're talking to a constituent and you're just abusing us. So I go online and I start posting about it. Of course, I'm posting about it all day long. Here's the phone number here. And so many people were calling. So many people were responding and saying that they too had been hung up on, yelled at, etc. That's what's going on in Richard Burr's office. So then on my show on Thursday, I just, opened up a can of beep, 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 and just let it go because I'm already annoyed with Richard Burr. Richard Burr is the worst senator. And here in North Carolina, we've got Tillis and we've got Burr. Now, Tillis is going after Burr because Tillis has got a primary challenger. And nobody likes Tillis either. So that's why you see Tillis now.
Okay.
But you know what? Good. Go ahead, Tillis. You go right ahead because usually it's Tillis. It's the Tillis and Burr show. So now it's the Tillis goes after Burr show. But what Burr is doing is outrageous because he's obviously trying to trap Don Jr. into a perjury trap so that they can punish Don Jr. because, Trump, because his father skated on the Mueller thing. And so they're obviously going to try to make an example out of Don Jr. Like this is what will happen to you if you go against the deep state. Now I'm sitting here literally, and I just got an email from Roger Stone, and I was saying to him, hey, I saw Cavuto on Fox News, and he was saying that the judges won't allow you to talk to your best friend. This is outrageous. He sent me a note back within a couple of minutes, and he said, they're not going to be happy until I'm dead and my wife is destitute. That is what's happening to American citizens. Now, Roger Stone's story really gets me because he and I have been sued by David Brock. There's some similarities in how
Hang on there just for a second. Hang on there just for a second. Tell us who David Brock is and why there would be a suit against Roger Stone and yourself.
Okay, so I wasn't sued along with Roger Stone, but he and I saw him at a press conference, and I told him he was talking about all these people who are suing him for various things, and David Brock is basically, he's one of the people behind Obama. David Brock is a Marxist. He's a communist. He is a community organizer with a ton of money, and he funds things like Media Matters. Now, Media Matters keeps going after me for my podcast and for whatever. They tried to sue me for a group that we were having a meeting, and there was about 10 people there. But because there was a Trump sign, they sued us for in-kind donations to the Trump campaign, to the Trump 2016 campaign. That's how petty they are. But they have so much money, they can just lawfare you to death until you have to give up, right? Which is what they've done to Roger Stone. Roger's been cut off from his friends, his support, people who know him. The judge literally said you can't talk to Cavuto, his best friend. And he's being bankrupted. And so he was being sued by David Brock Media Matters for probably an InfoWars podcast or something. The guy, he's basically an activist, and, he's responsible for Donald Trump. He's the reason why we have Donald Trump as president. And they're gonna cream him.
Carrie Baxter Donovan, this all seems so terribly incestuous to me. There's way too much foreplay and way too much heavy petting going on in this thing that people cannot reveal sources and methods. The deal is that this all stems from an attempt to keep a guy who is not a politician by any stretch of the imagination from either sitting in the Oval Office or he's there now and we got to get him out, period, end of statement.
No, I have another theory. I have another layer there.
Okay.
That I think is going to come out. And about a couple of months ago, I started making connections between things that QAnon has been talking about and dropping with these crumbs, right? And a case called the Pizza Connection. The Pizza Connection was a case in the 80s. and it was basically they busted up the mob. The mob was doing a lot of drug trafficking through pizza parlors, okay? And in 1982 or 3 or something, it is still the largest criminal case. Rudy Giuliani was one of the prosecutors, okay? And there's all of these common threads. I have a theory. Somebody else who was involved with the FBI at that time, do you know who was an FBI, who was helping the FBI at that time? Donald Trump.
Oh, really? Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I started thinking about this. And then yesterday, when that thing came out about the Connecticut Attorney General, and his background is in busting up the mob, I started thinking, is all of this, because, okay, so we've got some of the same players, we've got the Clintons, in this, the Pizza Connection is all about busting up the mob. It's Rudy Giuliani and Trump. I found some connections there, and I'm really the only one who's talking about this. I've got some other people talking about it, but I said, see what he did there, he broke up the mob. I'm wondering, is all of this that we're seeing, maybe this coup, is it really revenge? Because now we're going to find out that there are some mafia ties, because the guy who's the Attorney General in Connecticut, who's looking now at the investigators, his background is in busting up the mob, and the mob that had ties to the FBI, and that was in the 90s. So now we're getting up closer to our time. These are all the same players. You want to talk about incestuous? Yeah. So I wonder. That's my theory.
Okay.
Did I just take you off into the weeds?
No. This is interesting, and I'm on your Facebook page right now. And you can find Carrie at Carrie Baxter Donovan. If you're on Facebook, it's very simple. Carrie, Kari, Baxter Donovan. And I'm on your Facebook page, and it says about 11 hours ago, there was a graphic that you put in that I would like you to explain, because I think it's very interesting. It says, as Mr. Roger Stone calls him, Bobby Three Sticks is in big trouble today. Well, I know who Bobby Three Sticks is. So can you explain on your end who is Bobby Three Sticks? I know. But more importantly, A, why is he in trouble? And B, why does Roger Stone think that he's in trouble?
Well, so I got that. I love that, Bobby Three Sticks. And Roger Stone's been speaking out against Bob Mueller. So Bobby Three Sticks is Robert Swan Mueller III.
Right.
And, there's always been this kind of speculation. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? What's he doing? And I know that I uncovered a case where there's ties that Robert Mueller has to Hamas, in covering up a case called the Holy Land versus the United States. And that involved Eric Holder. Okay. And all of these people who are out there screaming and yelling about how terrible Trump is, they're all people who are going to get, they're going to get caught up in some sort of criminal act, I'm sure. But so there's Bobby Three Sticks is Robert Swan Mueller, and part of the reason why he is in big trouble today is because the story came out that Robert Mueller, had covered up for a mobster and had kept 4 innocent people in prison, and 2 of them died in prison. And
that's interesting.
Yeah, and that has to do with Bob Mueller. And so now we're going to start to find out that there's a backlog. And I have people who've told me, like Sidney Powell, and people who know these things say he is a bad guy. He has a laundry list of criminal activities. And when you start to realize that there are, and the reason why he was covering this up is because in the FBI field office in Boston were numerous people with ties to the mafia.
Yes, there were. Yes, there were.
Office. And so we're talking about,
and to Whitey Bulger.
Whitey Bulger. Mm-hmm. So my crazy The Pizza connection because I heard it on a video once, and I'm like, what's the pizza connection? What is that? And so I started looking into it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the way that they did surveillance, the way that it was so huge, the way that they had secret juries going on. It was Rudy Giuliani who was like orchestrating this whole thing. That's part of the reason what he was well known for. I'm like, see, and over here in QAnon, they're talking about secret trials. They're talking about all this kind of stuff. They're talking about surveillance. Oh my gosh. I'm starting to see, and I did a show. There's a video on my list of programs where I'm talking about the Pizza Connection and the similarities that I see between what was going on in the 80s and what I think we're going to find out is going on now, which is, and also Joe Genova just tonight said that the Attorney General in Connecticut has been already working for 2 months.
Yes.
They've already had grand jury.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's. So I'm like, aha. See, I'm glad to see that Joe Genova is finally catching up with me.
I think.
Anyway,
let me go to the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine, and let me see if you are in on this boat or not. What we're seeing is the revelation of the things that are beginning to unwrap layer by layer like an onion that's going bad over time. And we're discovering that the exact same thing that Democrats were accusing Republicans and Trump of, they themselves are, in fact, guilty of. And as the days and the weeks go by, we're discovering that it is exactly what Trump has been saying all along, what we've been thinking all along. And it's all going to get down to, I believe, the FISA warrant, the affidavit, the application to the FISA court, that it's an improperly submitted application that contained lies and false statements predicated upon a bought and paid for dossier that was purchased.
Something came out tonight.
That was purchased by Hillary Clinton, the DNC,
and not only,
and in part by the FBI. Go.
Yes. I'm so sorry, but I'm so excited because I'm like, I was surfing around on Twitter, and I saw some of that dossier, I swear, get created. And there were people who were talking about, hey, it was created in a chat room over here, and there were pieces over here, pieces picked up. Well, Nunes was on tonight, and he said that dossier, because remember, it's not verified. Even the author, Steele, doesn't even want to take credit for it. So it's bits and pieces, but he said this is because when I read it, I'm like, who in the heck would even think that is somebody would do those things?
Trump is a germaphobe. He's the proverbial germaphobe.
But only a very perverted, debased person would even believe that those things happen in the world. And so he said tonight, Devin Nunes said tonight, that Hillary Clinton wrote part of the dossier. So I'm sorry, I had to say, not only did she pay for it, but it looks like they might uncover that she wrote some of it.
Let me see. I'm trying to see if I can find that.
Would that be? So he was on.
I'm not.
Or was he on Hannity tonight?
He was on which show? Oh, Hannity.
I think he was on Hannity. It was just tonight. I was just sitting there, and he said, what we're seeing is the perverted imagination and the perverted writings of Hillary and blah, 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 whoever else. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is he going to tell me, which is something that I've suspected, but I'm a little conspiracy. I'll float off there and follow an idea. Did Hillary actually write part of that dossier? Because Steele says, is Steele going to say, I didn't write that thing. I didn't write that. Well, where did it come from? Well, it came from a chat room over here. It came from some over here. And, you know what? We've got something here that matches what I'm just imagining. If Hillary wrote part of it, oh my gosh.
Okay, you just gave me my work for tonight when I get through with the show, because my job now is to go and investigate that and find out if there's a good audio cut about that, and then talk about it on my show on Thursday. Or if Clint is lucky, I'll talk about it tomorrow, but probably not, because Clint doesn't deserve that kind of insight. But I'm submitting that when we discover, and I think we will discover, I'm a little disappointed in Trump's hesitancy to declassify a number of items. But I think what we're going to discover, all indications and evidence to me are pointing that the information contained in the dossier is, as we all know, essentially, even Bob Woodward said it's trash. And so the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine comes into play, and it's a legal concept which says essentially, if you're building a case and we discover that the initial evidence, in this case a warrant, that everything else was built upon, in other words, this is your foundation for everything else that was subsequently revealed. If it's discovered that your predicating evidence, in this case the FISA warrant, is built but upon specious bullshit, then everything you discover subsequently is invalid. This could, I submit, and this is why the fight is so nasty and gut-busting and claws and veins between the teeth, is because the Democrats, leftists, and the American media maggots cannot have it be revealed that this walks right back into the Oval Office of number 44. And this could also end up releasing, it could release Papadopoulos, it could release Cohen, it could release Manafort, it could release Flynn, and every other person trapped behind all of this obsequious crap that stemmed from the dirty dossier used as evidence to acquire that FISA warrant. And subsequently, then, every 90 days, they had to use the same stuff to go back and reapply, because that's how that works out.
And
your thoughts on that?
And it's even, and it's even bigger than that, what it's going to bust up. I've been talking to Dennis Speed over at LaRouche PAC, and like Papadopoulos is exposing, there's a lot of foreign intelligence that has also been trying to have a coup against our president. So once it's like a house of cards, once it starts to go and everyone's waiting and we're all thinking it has to do with that when he declassifies, and we know that when he does that, when he puts those FISA out, it's going to start the house of cards. But he's waiting. They believe that they have to wait for a number of different reasons. But when it happens, it's going to go fast, and we're going to see boom, 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 because, like you said, the fruit of the poisonous tree, this is all built upon the foundation is all a massive lie. And now everyone knows it's a lie, because remember, a week ago, it was, we weren't spying. Okay, well, then it came out, we were spying, but we had a good reason to spy. I mean, that's how fast. It was a week that we went from we weren't spying to, we were spying. But now we're on to something different, right? Because and that was from that flood letter that when the lawyer sent from the White House said that for us to remember that the FBI, the president does not report to the FBI reports to the president. That means Obama. Now, Binney says from the NSA that there was all of this massive pressure on him, and it was the Obama administration that was basically spying on everybody. He's spying on everybody. And they started spying on Trump. Probably, I found a WikiLeaks, and I wrote an article about it, that they were spying on him in 2009. So, but that's what Bill Binney says, and he was at the NSA. He knows for sure what was going on because he was there and he wrote the algorithms, right? So it's all going to start to come out that it was Obama, and Obama had the access to the server. He knew where Hillary's emails were. There was information that he had them in the Oval Office.
Yes, and his imprint is on the server as well. He sent emails under an alias to Hillary Clinton. Those things are on the server, and that's another reason, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, why everyone's going to be doing their level best to cover, because they cannot deflate Obama the masterful, Obama the greatest, Obama number 44. We have to keep him inviolate. So we're just about to wrap up. Carrie Baxter Donovan, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Tell people where you can be. Tell people where you can be read, Tell people where you can be found on social media, and then tell people once more about your radio show, where and when it is.
Okay, so, well, anybody can find me on Twitter. It's at Saorsa, Saorsa 1776. That's Scottish for Liberty, by the way. Carrie Baxter Donovan on Facebook. And I am on Patriot Soapbox, which is on YouTube, Patriot Soapbox, on Thursday, 3 to 5, and Sunday, 8 to 10. And I'm at Halsey News, and I'm also starting another one called Citizen Media. We're going to start this weekend in D.C. We've got some stuff to cover. So I'm out there all over the place, and I really appreciate you having me on. I love talking to you.
Thank you very much. Now, Citizen Media, is that does that mean you're starting a website? Is that going to be a website?
Yeah. So we're going to start our own website. What we're trying to do is some local news. You know, we need local news again. And we're going to start here in North Carolina. We're going to cover Tillis and Burr, and we're going to get that Burr. He's a Burr on our side.
He is.
We're going to cover some.
He is.
He's got to go down.
You're absolutely right.
He's bad news.
Yeah,
he's supposed to be retiring. We'll see. Right. I think he's going to come back. Anyway, but thanks for having me on. I love hanging out with you. Could talk to you forever.
Thank you. This was Carrie Baxter Donovan, the Bloviating Zeppelins, East Coast political goddess. And I think for those of you from Big Sarge Media who just happened to dump in here and step into the chat room and also step into the show, I think now you have an inkling as to why she is. Great insight, great contacts. Carrie Baxter Donovan. We're going to take a break. We're going to come right back. And we're going to try Open Line Tuesday. Once again, don't go nowhere, please.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
Hey girls, Carry Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys' club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic concealed carry and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out carrygirlgear.com today.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
For 50 years, I've seen the American people blinded by corrupt politicians, a lapdog media, and deceptive Islam. The one thing the elites fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud, through SHR Media and the Western Free Radio Network, for half a century of experienced perspective on political and social issues, weekly on The Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capitol, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad. Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct from the SHR Media Network. You can follow me on Twitter at BZEP, B-Z-E-P. You can like me and follow me on my Facebook page, Bloviating Zeppelin. Please friend, follow, and like the SHR Media Facebook page. And subscribe. Hey, subscribe. This is a great idea. Subscribe to the SHR Media YouTube channel. Go up there, click notifications, and give our videos a thumbs up. Great hosts, great videos, great shows. I'm on Big Sarge Media as well, so please click like when you go there. Friend and follow me there as well. Let me make a name for myself. Damn it, I have literally tens of followers on Facebook, and I'm making a big kick-ass. I'm cutting a swath through social media. I've got tens of followers on Twitter. I've got people following me from Mogadishu on Spreely. Listen, I'm making a big-ass cut in the social media world, and if you believe that. Anyway, listen to the shows. Listen to my show. Oh, wait. Hey, hang on. I think, looks like we have a caller. Do we have a caller? Somebody there? Oh, wait. How about now?
This is Agent AK from the Department of Justice, Division of Lava Lamp Abuse.
Oh, no, not lava lamp abuse. I thought you sent me the sequestrations on that, and I thought that I'd gotten them back to you in a timely fashion.
Yes, and I can see that the lava lamp is slowly churning, keeping Clyde calm.
Well, listen, as you can see if you're looking at the video, he is, well, no, you can't see from that video. Let me go to another view. Here we go. Now, on that video, you can see that Clyde is, God, now I have to point in the right direction. There's Clyde way up there at the top. He's a blue bobcat right now. And then directly beneath him, if you look, is the lava lamp. And the lava lamp has been set up at least an hour before. And so it's going quite nicely. And it can be, I discovered that Whiskey Dale gave me Clyde the Bobcat. And I have to give kudos and credit where credit is due. So it's due to Whiskey Dale, who gave me Clyde. But Clyde occasionally is seduced by the lamp. Not by the dark side, but by the lamp, because all he has to do now, because of his current positioning, is gaze down from above, and he's kind of held in sway by the lava lamp in itself. I don't know if you know this or not, but lava lamps are kind of like a combination of LSD and psilocybin to bobcats everywhere, all across the planet. And so I didn't know that until I got a bobcat, of course. But now I do. And anyway, so apparently,
I'm very glad that the lamp is absolutely positively running good now.
Thank you.
Because I would hate to have to send the paramedics over to pick up your bloody, scratched up body from Clyde.
I know, and don't think that, as long as I keep feeding him, I think I'm okay. But the day that I stop feeding him or petting him, I think we're going to have a problem. I think that's, unfortunately, I think that's true.
Hey, listen, buddy. I just called in to give you a hard time about the lava lamp. Didn't want you to think I forgot about it. And I'm going to actually have to go. I've got to get in the shower to get on an airplane to go to Texas here in about an hour.
Oh, okay. All righty. Well, have a nice shower, and thank you for calling, sir. I greatly appreciate it.
And thanks for having Carrie on. That was very interesting.
Carrie is...
And I want to see the perp walk start.
Oh, God, yes. Oh, my God, yes. Yeah, Carrie, number one, you found out Carrie is good people. If you've been listening before, you know that she always has been good people, and I wish good things. She kind of got screwed over massively on a prior website that she went in with a whole bunch of other people and ended up stealing, literally appropriating her website. And she's gone. There's been a lot of hate and discontent kicked out into the gutters and the curbs of the digital world. I just hope she doesn't have to go through any more of that junk, because nobody should have to do that. That's just, they're behaving like kids, not adults. Thanks for calling in, sir. Have a great shower.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. Don't know who that was, because he never said, but that's okay. I encourage that kind of insightfulness and creativity and motivation to call the Berserk Bobcat Saloon. But, oh yeah, she cut her hair. That's right. Carrie Baxter Donovan tonight told us that she did, in fact, cut her hair. The funny thing is, she was talking last hour about Bill Binney, and I knew a little bit about him. Oh, wait, hang on. One more second. Looks like we have, go ahead, unidentified caller.
Hey, how's it going? This is Kaiser. How's it going, BZ?
Kaiser, doing well. I'm glad I can't tell you how grateful I am to have, number one, two things. To have a phone system that works, and to know that I'm going to be solving my chat room issues at least tomorrow for the chat show. But it's a massive weight off my shoulders to know that, okay, the phone thing may be fixed and people can call in. Kaiser, that's a weight off my shoulders, and I'm really happy to hear it. Besides, and you guys tell me in the chat room, on my end, when someone calls in, the sound is pretty good. So I'm very happy about it.
Oh, yeah, brother. I'm just happy that I like the Dave was on my show today.
Okay.
And he's on your guys' media program, and he gave you guys a nice shout out.
Well, that's nice.
I put a link in the chat, and I think we've talked about this before. I'm going to be there at the chat show tomorrow. We're going to chat.
Oh, God,
and
yes.
I love that. Filthy Olives will be out, and I might even imbibe some liquor.
No, wait, when you just said that you might imbibe some liquor. If I had a producer after that, you would have heard, or that you were going to imbibe some liquor, you might have heard, or after you said you were going to imbibe some liquor, you might have heard, or if you had said that you were going to imbibe some liquor, I might have heard.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I think that's the one.
Yeah,
I'm going to imbibe some liquor.
Okay,
yeah,
and you're going to imbibe. Okay, say I'm going to imbibe some liquor.
I'm going to imbibe some liquor tomorrow. Oh, yeah.
Now, see,
I just think it's awesome. I think Dave and me solved a few problems, and you always solve a lot of problems with all this shutting that's happening on the media right now, and social media in particular is what I'm talking about. I think the only way for our messages to get out is that we cross-pollinate, we advertise for each other. Us small channels will only grow that way. And I like my small little channel, but and I'm not going to pimp it on your show. Like I said, I just posted that post on there, and I wanted to say thanks for everything SHR Media does.
Listen, brother, if you can't talk about your show on my show, then where can you possibly do it? So shout out, Kaiser, where's your show? Where can people find it? What's on it?
You can find me on the YouTube. I have many people I have on as guests. I've interviewed everybody like, you, Alan, of course. I think that was my initial show was with Alan. You were very close with him when we all did that show together, which was awesome and fun. I've had Dave on. I've had a few brothers of mine that are contractors on, and I served with in the military. And just stuff like that. Interesting chats. It's a diverse chat group. Vinny, he's like a comedian from Brooklyn. He's a black gentleman. He comes on. That's a little, what do you call it? Gamey. That's me and him make a lot of jokes. It's sort of like an Opie and Anthony Phil when he's on. So just warning to all. It's completely unfiltered, unedited. That's the way I like to do it. And it's all lowercase, sword point, SWORD, POINT, the numeral 9, and it's on YouTube, Sword Point 9. That's my show, Kaiser's Castle.
And a fine show it is. Now, are you at a point where you're on a schedule? Basically, you announce a show and then you go do a show. Or am I talking out of turn? Do you have a schedule?
No, there's no schedule. It's whenever the person wants to do it, I do it, and then I pop it up. So make sure to like, comment, and share. And when you like it, when you subscribe, you have to hit that bell.
Oh, yeah.
So you get notifications, because it is, like just now, because I can't do live streams anymore. Me and Dave did this. It would have been on in the afternoon. That's where I was liking to keep it. I've got no strikes, and yet I can't do live shows anymore. I have to upload them, and it takes, it just uploaded, I don't know, 11:15 or something. It's when I posted it on your chat room, brother.
Wow.
That's how long it took, yeah.
Okay, you can't do live streaming on YouTube.
Right.
Have I got that right?
No, I can upload. I can't, but it takes forever now, when it used to be super fast. And my live streaming my ability's completely shut down. And I've got no strikes. So it's just a bizarre thing. They're saying it's because we have copper lines, but I hadn't had problems live streaming for over a year and a half. So how's that happen?
Okay, I don't know if you're in chat. Well, yeah, you're in chat. Dave was saying, Kaiser, I may have an answer for that. Give me a little time after the show tomorrow to research. So if you and Dave get together, he might have an answer as to why you can't go live streaming, which just seems so weird to me anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. We were going to, anyways, I don't want to get into the production notes. That just bore the people. But yeah, like I said, I just called in. Thank you, Clint, and everybody associated with SHR. Dave, the unpleasant blind guy, he's not that unpleasant.
No.
He is a great guy, and folks need to listen to his show too. You guys put out a good product, and so does Big Sarge. Big Sarge Media, Redcon 1, I think it is. Or I don't know. It changed, I think. But anyways, Red Sarge, his production staff, and all the stuff he does, and the people there, some outstanding people. So we all have to support each other, or we all hang together, or all hang separately, my brother.
Boy, I tell you what, is that ever the truth? Because social media is gunning for each and every one of us. I seriously believe that one of the reasons that I haven't been struck or slammed or eliminated on Twitter wholesale is because literally I have maybe 3,600 followers on Twitter. My gig is, if people send me requests on Facebook, or if I just happen to encounter people, I will follow someone who actually has an interest. But it's like, who are all the damn hot chicks who are sending me Twitter, be my friend, follow me, and all the hot chicks who are saying, oh, follow me and friend me on Facebook? The only thing I can think of is like Dave, the unpleasant blind guy, who, by the way, is rather tolerable. But he is blind, and it makes me wonder, are all these hot chicks as blind or not more so than Dave Milner? Because apparently they have never gone to my profile page on Facebook or never looked at my profile photo on Twitter and seen that, number one, he is an ugly, old, fat, long-haired, bearded reprobate like fuck, and why would I possibly follow or have anything to do with this guy? I don't get that stuff. I don't get it at all.
You have a lot of personality, brother. That's what it is. Chicks dig the personality.
Okay,
anyways, I'll let you go and have somebody that's a better speaker than I am on for you. But anyway, they can call in. But like I said, it's just awesome every time I get to jump in and say a few words and shill for your guys' show, because like I said, we either hang together, we hang separately. You have a great day. God bless. Be well. Be safe. Brother.
God bless.
Bye.
Take care, Kaiser. Okay. Dave in chat just blew me up. Dave has burst my balloon. It's official. Dave says, BZ, hate to break it to you, brother. The hot chicks are bots. Oh, you mean they really don't want to have anything to do with me? Are you serious? Damn. Heavy sigh. That really, I thought my skirts were getting blown up because they really wanted to have something to do with me, or they were blind. They could have been blind. So, damn it. I guess that means I'm going to have to go do this.
It's time for happy stories and good times.
Hey, look, I really wanted to get into this, but I didn't have the time to do this with Carrie Baxter Donovan, because there was an article. I should have had this tab up and listed and ready to go, because I knew that this would have lit Carrie Baxter Donovan up. Their article from the National Post. Toxic masculinity, harmful for women and really, really bad for me. Written by a guy. Okay, I have a couple of articles that will probably light you up, but I'll save those for later, because I have another article that is definitely going to light leftists up. But I saw this. This came out, and I think this is a happy story, because there was a video from 2006 from Joe Biden. And let me throw this out to you guys, and you tell me if I'm out on left field or right field or something like this. I think that from now until doomsday, whenever that is in 2020, your question to any leftist should be something similar to, specifically regarding Joe Biden, is, what did Joe Biden know about this Russian collusion? Because he was in charge of all of that. He was VP during the 8 years of Obama. So the question we need to be throwing back to leftists is, Joe Biden, you want Joe Biden? Okay, what did he know about all of that, and when did he know it? Now, some people may be hard-pressed to do that. I would say, listen, Joe Biden is a target-rich environment. Now, I'm going to play this video for you, which I think may end up embarrassing Joe Biden and his adherents or sycophants. Maybe I should call them sycophants. Former VP, he was a senator in 2006, okay? So in this video that was shot at a Rotary Club, I think that was in South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, that He voted for a border fence despite other Democrats opposing that. And then this is what he said about why it is that he did that.
It's an erstwhile democracy where they have the greatest disparity in wealth. It's one of the wealthiest countries in the hemisphere. And because of a corrupt system that exists in Mexico, there is the 1% of the population at the top, a very small middle class, and the rest is abject poverty. Folks, I voted for a fence. I voted, unlike most Democrats, and some of you won't like it, I voted for 700-mile fence. But let me tell you.
Okay, stop right there. Joe Biden just said he voted for 700 miles of fence in contravention of his fellow Democrats.
We can build a fence 40 stories high unless it changes the dynamic in Mexico. And you will not like this. And punish American employers who knowingly violate the law when, in fact, they hire illegals.
Stop. Joe, for once, you are correct, mister. And that's one of the most abject reasons that there are certain and a number of Republicans that I despise. The first thing that you could do, and it wouldn't cost you any more money than what you have now, well, except to pass this act, this law in Congress, is make E-Verify not a hint or a suggestion, make E-Verify mandatory for everyone seeking employment in the United States of America. If you eliminate the jobs wrong, illegal jobs going to illegal people, if you eliminate that on this end, that tends to lessen the motivation for certain personnel to come north to the border. Now, that doesn't eliminate the issue of I'm fleeing repression from my country. As we know, that's a bunch of crap, but it's working, and they're using our laws against us in that. Here's another happy story. No, I'm not going to do that one right now. This I happen to love. When you fly into San Francisco, folks, were you aware that there are homeless people in the airport? San Francisco airport officials say there's a surge of homeless people taking shelter at the airport. So when people are saying on social media and in the news that San Francisco is San Francisco's feces, I screwed that up. When people are saying that San Francisco is San Fran Feces Co. Okay, I got that one. The first thing they're going to see when they step off a plane at SFO is the homeless. And the official line is, they're evaluating how to best address the growing issue of homelessness taking shelter at an air hub. So I guess there aren't any officers that work there, or there aren't any people that can say, this happens to be a place where we're not going to tolerate the homeless littering. Okay, at BZEP, I'm going to have to go to a break here in 1 minute, and I will be on time for this. On my social media, from a train on BART in San Francisco, there's a photograph of some guy, and I am not making this up, and it was not photoshopped. There was a photo of a guy taking a dump on a BART train in the Bay Area. BART stands for Bay Area Rapid Transit. Folks, it's getting to the point where if you're taking public transportation in some fashion, I pity you fools. I never will do public transportation. And number one, for me, it was just because that crap is icky. I have no interest in the public, really, much at all. My prior jobs have disabused me of that, if you get that. But the second thing is, now it's going to get to the point where leftist administrators in all the leftist-run urban rat cages, which is just about any major city, now you've got a health hazard on your hands when you have human beings dumping on public transportation, and my guess is you're gonna tolerate, literally, that shit.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
Hey girls, Carry Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys' club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic, concealed carry, and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out carrygirlgear.com today.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
For 50 years, I've seen the American people blinded by corrupt politicians, a lapdog media, and deceptive Islam. The one thing the elites fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud, through SHR Media and the Western Free Radio Network, for half a century of experienced perspective on political and social issues, weekly on The Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capitol, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad. Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Maybe I should. There we go. Welcome back to the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, where I am broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California. 2 miles east of the veritable belly of the beast, the locus of evil on the entire left coast. Period. End of state. End of statement. The Bill Mill, the Capitol building in Sacramento, Fornicalia at 10th and L Street, where nightly you can literally hear the plaintive wails, the euphonious wails of the death of common sense. And also where late at night when I go out that door about 10:30 or so Pacific time, I can smell the noxious vapors of evil emitted from that dastardly building at 10th and L. The sulfur, the brimstone, yeah. Every night. It never ends. I also want to tell you folks, again, you can follow me on Twitter at BZEP, and I said that's where you can find that lovely photograph of a human being dumping in public transit. The reason I place it there is because that's how desperate and ridiculous this situation has become. Not just in major urban rat cages, but I mean, it's spread, literally. It's spreading all throughout the United States. Anyway, you can follow me on Twitter at BZEP, at BZEP. You can like me and follow me on my page at Bloviating Zeppelin on Facebook. You can follow and like the SHR Media Facebook page. And also, I ask for all the hosts, myself in particular, because I am the best. Okay, except for Dave, who's in chat right here. Go to the SHR Media YouTube channel and subscribe. Hit that bad boy so that when someone broadcasts on the SHR Media YouTube channel, you'll be able to pick it up and hit subscriptions and click notifications and give our videos a big old thumbs up, because that just kind of helps in the social media world. Also on on Big Sarge Media, click and like him and follow the page on Facebook. Okay, I think I've got that right now. They say deaths come in 3. It makes you wonder what the third is going to be. Doris Day passed away yesterday or the day before at age 97. She didn't want a funeral. She wasn't a very public person. She was rather very private. And then today, this very sad thing happened because I watched this guy. I grew up with this guy. He and the Carol Burnett show, everybody that was associated with this guy, we loved him. His comedy was fabulous. And I'm talking about Tim Conway.
Tim Conway's career lasted so long that baby boomers remember him from McHale's Navy and millennials know him from SpongeBob SquarePants. He died today at 85. CBS Sunday Morning's Lee Cowan looks back.
Tim Conway was so side-splittingly funny, he didn't only make his fellow cast members laugh, he cracked himself up, too. For more than a decade, Conway's characters on The Carol Burnett Show...
Please take your time, for crying out loud. Get a chance to stop and smell roses.
...were a fixture. As funny today as ever.
You know something? From the back, you look like a Dolly Parton from the front.
Of his passing, Burnett said she's heartbroken, calling Conway a brilliant comedian and a loving human being.
Just because Hawkins runs a taut ship Doesn't mean it can't be a happy ship. Besides, there's nothing tawdrier than a happy ship.
Conway's talent was his ability to stand out in the background, never the lead, yet he led the laugh.
Do that to me! How could you?
Well, it wasn't...
Native in the Midwest, his comedy was always clean.
Why didn't you tell me my rear end was on fire?
Well, you told me not to do anything to attract attention.
Okay.
Even when he branched out to the movies, Disney mostly. He never seemed to mind that the jokes were at his own expense. Tim Conway was a proud second banana with a first-rate sense of humor. Lee Cowan, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Death's Coming 3, unfortunately, it makes you wonder, okay, who's going to be next? Sad to see Tim Conway go. One of the last of the great, really honest-to-God clean comedians. But in the meantime, I think that since this is the final, let's see, what have I got? About 19, 20 minutes left. I am going to continue with...
It's time for happy stories and good times.
There's this, and I should have mentioned it earlier, but I'm still gonna laugh like hell at this because, well, it's worth laughing at. This definitely falls into the category of Schadenfreude. And Schadenfreude, as I've described before, is a German word for something similar to this. Sitting on the bank of the river and watching the dead bodies of your enemies float by. And you're watching this and you're thinking, yeah, that's pretty cool. I kind of like that. Well, here's an article. Massachusetts judge who helped illegal immigrant escape ICE arrest is indicted, federal authorities say. Remember the federal judge who let an illegal go? Well, now she just got indicted herself. And I noticed that when this first came out, she was crying. I'm so sorry. She was crying. I shouldn't have done that shit in the first place, sister. A Massachusetts judge and court officer accused of helping an illegal immigrant flee an Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent, an ICE agent, waiting to take him into custody, were indicted by a federal grand jury for obstruction of justice and 3 other counts. Newton District Court Judge Shelley Richmond Joseph and the court officer, identified in court documents as Wesley McGregor, screw you both, face several charges stemming from an April 2nd, 2018 incident in which the pair allegedly helped Jose Medina Perez get out of the courthouse via a back door in order to elude the ICE agent who sought Medina Perez. You're going away. Oh, here's another happy story. CNN ratings continue to plummet to all-year low. CNN had its lowest primetime weekly ratings overall and in the key age demographic, according to Nielsen research. From April 8th to the 12th, and also the last week of April, the network only averaged an audience of, listen when I tell you this number, they averaged an audience of 690,000 people and 180,000 people in the key 25 to 54 age demographic. You know what? The Tibetan bell ringing channel gets more ratings than CNN. And they don't forget that they had some really fierce town halls recently, okay? They had presidential town halls with the great, fabulous Democrats such as New York Senator Kristen Gillibrand and Washington Governor Jay Inslee. Who? And former Housing and Urban Development Secretary Julian Castro. Who? Gillibrand's town hall. She's a name, right? Gillibrand's town hall had 507,000 viewers. Inslee's, and it's like, Inslee? Who the fuck is that? Inslee had 549,000 viewers, and Castro's, who I've heard even less of, maybe they thought it was Fidel, and that's why they were tuning in. Castro, got 654,000. You can't write this stuff at all. Then there was this. And this story has a massive potential to be a big bite in the ass to leftists, Democrats, and the American media maggots, and potentially big labor as well. There is a special education teacher who is suing a California union in a case that potentially could really turn labor upside down. And it's coming. A California educator is battling a state teachers union, a California state teachers union, over his problems leaving the organization in what his attorneys say could be a precedent-setting legal case that ultimately, listen to this, that ultimately forces labor unions across the country to reimburse billions, with a B, billions of dollars in back dues to their members. Do you not see the massive holy fuck that's being resoundingly shrieked in the halls of big labor? Tommy Few, a special education teacher at Sepulveda Middle School in Los Angeles' San Fernando Valley, he filed a suit late last year against the United Teachers of Los Angeles, along with the Los Angeles Unified School District and California Attorney General Xavier Becerra, claiming that his First Amendment rights to freedom of speech and association were violated when he tried to leave the UTLA following last year's Supreme Court ruling in Janus versus AFSCME, AFSCME. Now, why is that important? Because that Supreme Court ruling in Janus invalidated mandatory fees for non-members. But as a result, some unions and some union members like Few also found themselves having second thoughts about staying on board once they learned that they could save some money. And trust me, union dues are frequently not cheap, only to run into problems renouncing their membership. Remember the Hotel California. You can check out any time you like, but you can never leave. Quote, when I found out that I didn't have to be in the union and have those dues deducted from my paycheck every month, I wanted out, Few told the news. But they tried to tell me that I could only leave during their opt-out window. Imagine that. And that I still had to pay the dues. Now, Mr. Few said that despite the Supreme Court's ruling in the Janus case, that was a 5-4 decision last June that said public employees can't be forced to contribute to labor unions that represent them in collective bargaining. He still faced an uphill battle trying to resign his membership from the UTLA. Imagine that. And get the school district to stop withholding dues from his paycheck. You're still siphoning off my cash. Stop. I told you stop, and you're not stopping. At first, they didn't respond to his requests. Then, when he pursued litigation, the union agreed to tell the school district to stop collecting dues from him and reimbursed him for all the dues paid post-Janus. But Few is now seeking reimbursement for dues paid since he became a teacher. Whoa, that's huge. Now, at the heart of UTLA's argument for continuing to deduct part of Few's wages is a clause in the California Teachers Association membership enrollment form, which Mr. Few signed when he took the job and joined the union, that the, quote, the agreement to pay dues continues from year to year, regardless of my membership status, unless the member sends a written notice out opting out, not less than 30 days and not more than 60 days before the annual anniversary date of this agreement. There are other stories to go into, and I'm not going to continue with that. But if he wins, can you imagine? I would suspect if SCOTUS comes down and says and holds and affirms for him, and it goes up there, that you'll see some shops closing who won't be able to make those payments. Now, right or wrong, if you're not obeying the Janus decision, labor unions, I can only suggest that you brought that on yourself. Here's another one. Remember Amazon, owned by Jeff Bezos, the wealthiest man in the world? Apparently, you can hit a leftist in the head a certain amount of times and they actually start paying attention with this major caveat. If it involves money, now you've got their attention. This is schadenfreude as well. The headline is from newstarget.com. Amazon is going to exit collapsing liberal sanctuary city, Seattle, as drug addiction, homelessness, and high business taxes make the leftist stronghold increasingly uninhabitable. Now, instead of Seattle, you could just as easily have put San Francisco, Berkeley, any city in the Bay Area, Sacramento. Sacramento is rife with homeless, poo, etc. Substitute any major leftist urban rat cage for Seattle. Seeing the clear writing on the wall, corporate monolith Amazon has decided to pack its bags and head for greener pastures with recently leaked plans to completely flee its longtime hometown of Seattle by the year of 2023. What are you saying that quality of life actually makes a difference to people, that they shouldn't just say, oh, well, it's a human being, and though I have to step in their feces and slide around in their urine all day to get to my house or my apartment or my place of employment, that's okay. That's the least that I should put up with for the pleasure of being around the homeless so that I can experience their quality of life as well. Here's another story. This is wonderful because if you know the dude, you know how it killed him to say this. Longtime New York Times liberal columnist argues for Trump's border wall. The solution is a high wall. Well, wait a minute. If it's a New York Times columnist, number one, it's going to be a leftist. And number two, how is this guy going to keep his job when he says incredible crap like this? President Trump has a new and unlikely new ally in one of the New York Times' most liberal and well-known voices. Who, BZ, are you talking about? Who is the dude? Thomas Friedman, a longtime member of the New York Times and columnist for the newspaper since 1995, has been scathing, absolutely scathing, in his criticism of Donald Trump. In a column last February, the award-winning writer described Trump as the biggest threat to the integrity of our democracy today. Oh, wait a minute. If I had a producer, what you would have heard is something like this. Donald Trump is the biggest threat to our democracy today. Hello? Come on. Yeah, but I don't have a producer, so that's not what you heard. During a CNN interview, the Pulitzer Prize winner also called Trump disturbed, adding that if Hillary Clinton were president and done one of the things Donald Trump was accused of doing, she would have been impeached. Yet now Friedman finds himself standing on the same side as Trump on one of the president's signature issues, the border wall. The veteran scribe's latest column begins by detailing, and here's the difference. And it's another reason why none of the leftists are going to be doing what he did, because it convinced him, and they don't want that to slough over on them. What happened is that he took a recent trip to parts of the southern border to watch this for himself. A shocking admission on his part. He wrote, on April 12th, I toured the busiest border crossing between America and Mexico, the San Isidro port of entry in San Diego, and the walls being built around it, the piece reads. Guided by a U.S. Border Patrol team, I also traveled along the border, right down to where the newest 18-foot high slatted steel barrier ends, and the wide open hills and craggy valleys beckoning drug smugglers asylum seekers, and illegal immigrants began. This is Thomas Friedman actually writing these words that leftists eschew. Gesundheit. Drug smugglers. Well, there can't be any drug smugglers on our borders. Asylum seekers. Oh, those poor people, they need to be and coddled. And illegal immigrants. Oh, you can't say or write that. And he summarized it by saying, quote, "It's a troubling scene." Thank you, Captain Obvious. Friedman continued, "The whole day left me more certain than ever that we have a real immigration crisis." Stop. This is Thomas Friedman using and writing the C word, crisis. He acknowledged exactly what President Trump, OMB, Orange Man Bad, the guy with the dead orange cat on his head, has said for some time, this is a crisis. Now we have Thomas Friedman acknowledging, well, this is a crisis. And he said the solution is a high wall with a big gate, but a smart gate. Without a high wall, too many Americans will lack confidence that we can control our borders, and they therefore will oppose the steady immigration we need. No one's against immigration, as long as it's lawful and as long as it doesn't subsume us. Because right now, the leftists, the LDAM, the leftists, Demorats, and American media maggots are trying to Cloward Piven the shit out of D.C. and subsequently all of the United States, meaning you and me, the American taxpayer. Now, what is the Cloward Piven effect? The Cloward Piven effect, Michael Cloward and I think Francis Fox Piven, who were leftists/socialists from the 60s, had an effect where they suspected and advocated, if you want to bring about change, here's what you do. The Cloward-Piven effect means that you completely overwhelm each and every source that you target to the point where it all falls apart in chaos. Then once you've achieved that goal, you rebuild it in the way that you want, not in the way that anybody else wants, but you rip it down like nihilists, and then if you even deign to rebuild it, you rebuild it in the way that you really want. And it's very interesting. The column is a stark contrast to a piece published in February by the Times editorial board titled "Phony Wall, Phony Emergency." So this is Thomas Friedman contradicting himself. It was published in the wake of President Trump's national emergency declaration, charged, in reality, the wall is not a done deal, and Mr. Trump has spent the past few months, and past 2 years really, failing to convince either Congress or Mexico to pay for it. This week's bipartisan spending bill, which contained no more wall money than the one over which Mr. Trump shot down the government in December, was a particularly humiliating defeat. That's what he wrote before. Now he wants a border wall. Imagine that. Here's another article that I think I'm going to save for next Thursday because it requires a bit of depth and a bit of explanation, too. And here's the final story, the final happy story for tonight. Oopsie, this has to do with Joe Biden again. And again, this is so loving. Biden's latest hire doesn't want white people leading the Democrat Party. No, that's correct. I said that correctly. Biden's latest hire for his presidency doesn't want white people leading the Democrat Party. Former CNN contributor Simone Sanders. Okay, Simone, let me make this differentiation. Simone, you spell your name in chat Simone. Okay, I don't want to confuse people. Simone Sanders spells her name Symone, Sanders. Major difference between the two. I want to tell you that I'm acknowledging that fact up front. Simone Sanders, she's a former CNN contributor, does not want white people leading the Democrat Party. Or I guess that's the way that she used to feel. She was tapped recently to serve as a senior advisor to former Vice President Joe Biden, who announced his long-expected 2020 presidential run a couple of Thursdays ago. Wait a minute. She's a black female who said that she doesn't want white people leading the Democrat Party, and yet now she's working for a really old, ancient white male. I continue to say, folks, you can't write this stuff.
Monsieur has been locked!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thanks for listening to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat radio show, Bobcat Saloon radio show, on the SHR Media Network. And if you want to contact me, you will find me on Twitter at bzepp, and on my blog, which I'm now writing at bloviatingzeppelin.net. Thanks to Big Sarge Media for simulcasting my show. Promotional consideration is by the Lockheed Martin Skunk Works and the Boeing Company. If it ain't Boeing, I ain't going. And also, Pratt & Whitney Engines Thrust. You can trust. My tiaras are by My Little Pony. Thanks again to my personal KC-135 Kettle One refueling team, with whom I will be consorting in less than an hour. Thanks to Carrie Baxter Donovan for being here in the first hour. Thanks to you, all of you, for being in chat. Thanks for listening live. Thanks for listening in podcast. I appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time out of your busy day or night to do so. Tomorrow night is a chat show. The Sackheads Against Tyranny. Be here. Aloha. God bless. Take care. You be safe.
Everybody quiet down now and get some sleep.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Ben.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children.
Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing?
Good night,
Good night, Jim Bob. Go to sleep.
Good night, and good luck.